What if Crisis on Infinite Earths and Avengers Endgame were video games? With all the hype and buzz and pizzazz and excitement and other words that mean the same thing going on about Crisis on Infinite Earths over on the CW, I had to make a video relating to it slightly to get clicks. No, seriously though, it got me thinking about this concept for a video game that I had a couple years back about superheroes, obviously. Come on. Now I love superheroes and I love video games, and when the two come together, it's always a beautiful thing, except for maybe this, but I still see its value. It's valuable, I guess. But seriously, the Batman Arkham games and the Spider-Man PS4 video game are two of the best video game experiences I have ever had in the entire course of my life. At all. It's a great game. They are video games that I struggle to put down every single time that I play them, even after the first time, which is something that I struggle to find even on a first playthrough. I am rarely grasped by video games nowadays, and I am very glad that those two video games are able to hold me in a way that is meaningful. But this game that I'm talking about, which is nothing more than just a concept that I came up with, so if you want to steal it, feel free, that's fine, revolves around the concept of these really big superhero team-up events. This year especially has been a huge year for these big superhero team-up events, with Avengers Endgame absolutely demolishing the box office and Crisis on Infinite Earths delivering more crossover than I thought even possible on television. But seriously, Endgame is the fan service equivalent of finding an extra chicken nugget in the chicken nugget box from McDonald's, but instead of just one extra nugget, you have a whole extra pack of nuggets. And now you don't know what to do, there's so many nuggets. God, that's a dumbass thing to say. But I think we can take this concept of a connected universe and just slam it into video game form, and I think it will work phenomenally. I see the gameplay in my head as a big mishmash of the Arkham and the Spider-Man gameplay, which are very similar in the first place, as well as something like Shadow of Mordor, which is also similar to the Batman Arkham games, but I want it for a different reason, which is that sick nemesis system. I think that would work really well in a superhero environment. Just consider creating your own supervillains with the nemesis system. Whew. This game could have potentially infinite content, and I won't talk too much about monetizing that content, but if we take a look at how Square Enix is doing it in their Avengers game, I think that that is the correct way of doing it. They are going to be releasing free character additions as the game's life extends, and that's just peak awesome, in my opinion. Basically, I just want Square Enix's Avengers. As long as it's done right. I have hope. Being able to have these giant hero battles become interactive, potentially even multiplayer, that is something that I want so badly. You could have individual story campaigns for each hero character with these build-ups to these giant hero climax, big event action sequences. Oh my goodness, I make myself a... Of course, putting all of this into a video game is not going to be easy. It will require a whole bunch of time, money, effort, etc. It would be a ton of character modeling, voice acting, programming new abilities. It would be a lot, for sure. But there are a couple of reasons that I do think that this format is better than, say, a movie or a television show. And we're going to talk about them. Once you get a character into the game, they are in the game. Even if they die later on, you can replay their character with their abilities. They're not actually going anywhere. Being a video game, it also cuts out some of the biggest issues that I have with the movies and the television. They happen so rarely. In a truly living world, these characters would be interacting all the time. These big events could happen way more often in a video game instead of the once a year on the CW and the couple times a decade that the MCU does them. This game could have the characters interact more often, more interactively, and potentially infinitely. There's less limitation on scheduling voice actors, and having an interactive world would just make for a better experience. Because video games are the best medium. Do not at me. If you want more of my content, there's some of it over there. If you want to leave a comment telling me about video games that you fantasize about having, if you want to look at me on other websites, there's social media, other words that are outro. Did like and subscribe, whatever. Goodbye.